Welcome back to the Conspiracy Theory with myself, the GOAT David Campbell, here in my humble abode. It's the only show on YouTube where the only opinion that matters is my opinion and the opinion of my esteemed guest today. Don't forget ESSR, go check out all the great content. Tuesday, we've got the feature shows. We are kicking off the WrestleMania week coverage here on ESSR. The feature show this week, we'll be looking at the Raw after Mania, I believe. If I've got that wrong, Stephen Wilson will tell me. He shout at me down the phone. Don't forget, on Thursdays, we have ESSR Central. You can go and check that out there. On this very channel, we had the final of the Book It tournament, Stephen Wilson versus David Hockney. A great show. Go and check that one out. Get the views up on that one. It's fantastic. Saturday Draft Live on Saturdays. And don't forget, the guys will be live with their preview shows for both NXT TakeOver, the 2-day event, and the 2-day event of WrestleMania. So you can join Ross McLeod and the team for that one. But today I'm joined by someone very special. He has been with this ESSR malarkey for years now as the Savage, known as Strak. Strak, how are you doing, my friend?
All right, man.
You having a good time? We are here to talk something very sort of close to your heart, because I think out of everyone on the podcast, you're the one who more gravitates to the stuff outside of WWE and all the companies outside of that. And we're going to be discussing the talent that you think, or the talent that you'd want to leave WWE after this year's WrestleMania. Now, you brought this topic to the table. What were your reasons for wanting to explore this today, do you think?
It's not really like kind of, I want him to leave. I just want him to have a good run. I mean, I said this to you earlier, I'm so sick of WWE taking on amazing talent. They've literally had the best talent in the world come through their doors, and nothing happens with them. They get left in the locker room or in catering, and it's just, you're like, these guys were world champions, and you're not even bothering with them now. You're not even giving them a feud, and then when they get a match, you're like, you've seen it somewhere else, like AJ Nakamura. You've seen it somewhere else, and it was immense, and then you see it in WWE, and you go, why is you're meant to be at the pinnacle of wrestling? Why is it so bad?
Yeah, why is it so hard to get this right?
I don't get it.
No, I agree with you, and that's why I think we're looking at it. You mentioned the monopolization of the market from WWE. They're taking on so much talent that it's impossible for a lot of them to shine in a lot of ways, you know. So we're going to get into it. We're going to name 3 each who we think are going to leave the company. We've got some response from viewers and listeners and the teams at ESR as well. But don't forget, watching live, this is live right now. If you want to get your opinion heard on the show, comment in, see if you agree or disagree with us. But Strak, give us your first name who you think is going to leave WWE in the coming months.
First of all, obviously, Aleister Black.
Oh,
Aleister Black, without a doubt. The guy's NXT, brilliant run, was over. I mean, you're over in NXT when the crowd sing your theme tune.
Yeah, exactly.
You know you're over. And it was so good in NXT, and you thought, I've always hated when they go, oh, he's going to go to the main roster now. And I'm like, no. But then they go, and what did they have? They had a feud with Bobby Lashley.
Yeah.
He had a feud with
Cesaro.
Who did he lose the eye
to? He lost the eye to Rollins and co.
Okay,
you can't even remember that. He had some good matches, to be fair. Where he had a good match with Cesaro, and he had a good matches with Murphy as well. So those were high points, but they never really treated him like a main event star, which he should have been. Like, you got a character like him, as enigmatic as him, you present him in a similar way. I know it's a lazy comparison to your Undertakers, to your characters like that. Make him feel special. Make him feel like something different to the entirety of the other people that you've got in your roster. But they never really did. They had him with that stupid come and pick a fight with me gimmick, didn't they? It was rotten the way they presented him in the main roster.
I mean, in NXT, I mean, you used to have obviously the black mass kick, and you used to let when he done it, because the thing is, I understand this. The guy done kickboxing for so long.
Yeah.
I done kickboxing for the same. We can hit kicks like that and no hurt the other person.
Yeah.
Whereas like Brie Bella fought Liv Morgan in the face, stuck it out because she thought, oh, if Daniel can do a kick, I can do a kick. and I've seen too many guys hit kicks and knock people clean out. But
Yeah.
yet he was hitting a kick that should knock people out. It's a turning heel kick.
Yeah.
But he would lift them up with a foot, and you'd be like, oh.
Mhm.
And people who get hot weight, they would just fold, and it would sell it so much better. And you'd let the guy's a top class finisher. He's got a brilliant entrance. He's so entertaining in the ring.
Yeah.
How did they? And you just say, the character wise, he's not even like physically as big as Undertaker, but character wise, they could have treated him more like no demonic, but kind of cultish.
Yeah, totally. Could have done something different with. I personally think he suffers. That we mentioned this off air. I think Finn Balor's NXT title run kind of suffers sometimes because he is a tweener. There's no definition of sort of face or heel. It changed without really changing in NXT. I think that's the same with Aleister Black. They tried to have their cake and eat them too as this cool babyface, but if you had him right from the off as this ruthless, destructive heel, almost like Ministry Taker, but not quite, then I really think that could have worked with Aleister Black. But like you say, it never really got off the ground in WWE, but it begs the question, Strak, if Black was to get released from WWE after Mania, where would you see his next destination being? Where would you want him to go?
See, I thought obviously it's a bit obvious if he went to AEW, and maybe became the new leader of Dark Order. Because I don't think Hangman Adam Page is the character to be the leader of the Dark Order.
Yeah.
And I hope I'm not offending anybody. I hope that if he had to go to AEW and become the leader, it wouldn't upset people because he's no filling Brody Lee's boots.
Yeah.
The kind of guy where if he took the spot, in my opinion, I wouldn't be angry.
And I think it's one of those. Yeah, it's the story, isn't it? Because right now they are this jovial babyface act, and they've got over because of that. They've done really well. But if he's to come in and say, Evil Ono, Reynolds, these guys, what are you up to? This isn't who you are. You're not jobbers. You shouldn't be dancing about, singing songs. You know what I mean? And maybe if he takes over the group and sort of divides it in that way, it's an easy way to get John Silver leaves the group and goes up against them. Hangman Page goes up against them. All those storylines suddenly open up because of that.
Their faces, because John Silver, honestly, watching being the Elite, he's just too fucking funny.
Yeah.
He's just, everything he does, you kind of laugh at. You're like, it's so stupid, but it's so funny.
Totally.
But I mean, when you had the Dark Order come in, you had the Stu Grayson and Evil Uno and all the mask guys attacking people. They came in as a heel, but they've now kind of faded into being a face. But yet the promos they used today, that wasn't the point. So I'm like, if Aleister Black came in, bring him back to that starting point.
Totally. And there's also the idea of maybe teaming him up with Andrade, maybe Thea Trinidad as well. Maybe there's a room for a trios group there, in some regard.
See, I thought that'd be no bad having him and Andre as a tag team, but I think I would prefer to see him single. But do you know what the thing I said as well to somebody ages ago? If Aleister Black goes to the main roster, Ascension were still employed by WWE. Imagine if you put Aleister Black and Ascension together.
Yeah, totally.
How tremendous would that have been?
It would have been good. We've got Alan Laurie coming in. Watch the silver screen, his movie clips. We need to get on to that. We do enjoy a bit of John Silver here. I had him in the draft a couple of seasons ago as well. And ended up being a very promising pick for me, a very fruitful pick when Dark was still a thing. But we're going to go on to my first pick now. It's a bit different to Aleister Black in that Black's still got a way to go. I think this guy's days are starting to get numbered, but I could see Jeff Hardy being unhappy with his current position in WWE and asking for the move. Like I alluded to there, Jeff Hardy's not got a lot of time left in the wrestling world. It's clear that matches like the TLC bouts back in the day have really started to take a toll on Jeff to the point he's had to slow down his in-ring style considerably. And I think right now, what he really wants to end his career on is a high, and I think the biggest position on the card he can get is alongside Matt for one last run as the Hardys in AEW. I think that's what's going to happen here. I'd want to happen is Jeff asked for his release. Need to see what happens with that. Obviously, we don't know the situation in contract time, injuries being added on. But we've seen before with the likes of Dustin Rhodes, the WWE does have respect for certain competitors and will grant their release just due to that respect and that long time employment and loyalty. I think Jeff, if he was to go to AEW, reunite with Matt, they could put on a couple of decent matches. I think the Young Bucks, as much as I have problems sometimes with their booking, the Young Bucks could certainly carry them to some good matches. I think they could have some great matches with FTR, you know, coming out and saying, you old guys can't compete with us. You're the part of the reason that tag team wrestling is no longer as pure as it used to be. I think there's a built-in story there, a built-in feud between those two teams. And can you imagine if Private Party decide we're sick of Matt Hardy, Matt needs to turn to someone to back him up. Private Party versus Matt and Jeff sounds pretty good to me as well. So I don't know what you think of that, Strak, if the Hardy Bros in the AEW Tag Team division appeals to you at all.
Here's a question.
Mm-hmm.
They probably would, if they would, they'd probably do it on Impact. They would link up again and become tag champs.
Yeah.
Do you think Jeff would have enough in him to have a world title run in AEW?
I think Jeff Hardy has enough in him to have a world title run in Impact. I don't think he has it for AEW because I think AEW, I don't see Kenny Omega losing that title for another 6 months, and I think it will be to Hangman Adam Page. And I think that Jeff isn't up there enough. AEW's world title to me screams work rate. It's guys at the top of their game. It's guys at the pinnacle of their career. Jeff, for as much as I love Jeff, does not have it in him. I don't think. I'd love to be proved wrong, but I don't think he has it in him to operate at that capacity anymore.
See, that's how I agree with you, because there's one simple thing I can say.
Mm-hmm.
When did Jeff Hardy start in WWE?
It was like 92 or something crazy, I think. Maybe
97.
97.
So Jeff Hardy has been wrestling for, what's that now,
24 years.
Right. I hate to say it, but a lot of the older guys are done.
Yeah.
They're a lot. People are like, oh, nostalgia. It's nostalgia, but see, the guy can't go anywhere.
Yeah.
It's a wee bit detrimental as well to the younger guys, because they're like, well, we're coming up, we can go.
You need to move the space. Yeah.
So, no,
and that's the thing, you know. It's not insulting Jeff in any way. Respect what he's done, but if Jeff wants that one last big run, it's going to be as part of the Hardys, and have that as your retirement. You know, have the Bucks send the Hardys into retirement. You know what I mean? That sounds like a good story to me. But
well, that's the way it always should be. It should be the older guys passing it to the younger guys.
Passing the torch, exactly. Well, Strike, who's your?
I'll retire them.
That would be great.
Would not even be mad at that.
That'd be great for you. But who is your second pick, Strike?
Second is Ricochet.
Oh, nice. King Prince Puma.
I will go exactly. He was in Lucha Underground's Prince Puma. His clips are all over YouTube for stuff like that. His clips are on YouTube. Fan. The guy was, I think, should have been champion in NXT.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people said, "Oh, he didn't need it. He didn't really need it." It's like, but the Poppy GOAT and Strak champion was really good.
Yeah,
and I'm like, him in feuds with like Gargano, or I mean, feud with one of the guys I'm going to cut me. He had a feud with Velveteen Dream,
mm-hmm.
and I said this: Velveteen Dream is good, but you pair him with certain people, he isn't good.
Yeah,
you put feud with EC3 was terrible.
Yeah,
but yeah, his feud with Ricochet
and Black,
his moment of the year. Ricochet flipped at the top and landed on his feet.
Yeah,
he's like, show me.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody popped for Ricochet. Then they're like, wow. And I get some people don't like flippy stuff, but at the same time, you need to respect that it takes a lot of athleticism and a lot of balance timing to do that stuff. It's not a case of, I mean, Quacker will tell you, I took him to flip it, and he's like, oh, how do you do a Black Arrow? I says, well, you need to up forward rotation, but twist under.
Yeah.
And he can't even think how that goes, never he'd do it. He's like, yeah, a Phoenix Splash. I says, it's a side rotation with a front flip.
Yeah.
And he just looked at me, he's like, even think to know to do that. I says, you need to break it down and work out in the air.
And totally.
Stuff, and you're like, They says Pac was the man that gravity forgot. Ricochet was the guy who's never even heard what gravity is.
And I think, well, I actually agree with you. You need to respect physically what he can do. But Ryan brings up this point. He says, disagree. I don't think Rico needed the top belt in NXT, and I don't think he would have handled it well either. And I do see that point because I can't remember a show I brought it up on 3 weeks ago, but Apollo Crews, right? Everyone thought Apollo Crews was done in WWE until the last couple of months when he finally got a character. And I do feel that that's what Ricochet has missed in WWE. There's no doubting that in the ring, Ricochet is one of the best in the world. He is fantastic. The stuff he can do, like you said, Strak, it's unbelievable. But he needs something more because I don't think his mic works particularly great. Maybe pair him with a manager, maybe make him a faction, but he needs that character. And I think that we're going to discuss where we think he'll go in a minute. But whether he leaves WWE or not, I don't think he could make it to the next level in a company like AEW. I think he would find himself in a mid-card position in AEW unless he found that gimmick. Do you agree or disagree with me on
I
that?
was going to say, do you think because he's no gimmick and he's not really a talky person, he kind of makes himself another face in the crowd?
I think so. And I think it's down. You can blame WWE all you want, but there's only so much you can. You know what I mean? It's down to him as well, because I don't know how much he wants to put himself out in a limb.
I think with Ricochet, though, it is the curse of the under 6 foot rule. There's very few guys in WWE who they're standard in NXT, but they go up. And I've always said this, apart from obviously AJ and Daniel Bryan, if you're under 6 foot.
But that's the thing with AJ. He came in with a pedigree, but he's also not been afraid to shake it up with characters. Made himself look silly as a heel. You know, go out there with heel work as a babyface. Like he tried not to keep it as bland. Daniel got over when he got the yes stuff and put it out there with character. I think Ricochet needs a similar thing, you know, and he needs to be the one to sort of, because Apollo Crews wouldn't be with the Nigerian Prince stuff if Apollo didn't go and say, "Here, let me try this." You know what I mean? And whether you like it or not, he's now in an Intercontinental title match at WrestleMania. You know what I mean? So,
as you say, they kind of need a gimmick. No, everybody needs a gimmick, but at the same time, they need something for people to kind of latch on to.
Exactly. And that's the thing. I don't know where you think it would be best to go. Like maybe New Japan, because gimmicks aren't necessarily the big thing over in New Japan. You know what I mean? It is more about the in-ring style, so it could work over there.
I was going to say, I'd prefer it to go to Japan. I'd maybe like to see him against Rey Fenix.
Yeah.
But I would like to merely see or Pac, but I'd like to really see him go back to Japan.
Nice. And listen, we've talked about AEW being the lazy destination for people, but my next person, I think that she has the opportunity to go to AEW and tear that division up. I'm talking about Ruby Riott. There's very few people with Ruby Riott's look. There's very few people with Ruby Riott's grit. You look at Ruby Riott and you think she looks hard as nails. And we watched that match, the first ever women's main event in Dynamite history, Thunder Rosa versus Britt Baker. Excellent, hardcore stipulation. Wonderful. I've sat in this podcast track, and I'll be the first to admit, I've laid it in to the AEW women's division, but it's because I wanted to see something like that. And I think if you put Ruby Riott in that AEW women's division right now, it improves it for them, but it also does wonders for Ruby's career because she has floundered in the WWE mid-card. She has floundered as part of stables, tag teams, never given the women's title matches she's had have been like, I think she had one against Charlotte, which of course she's not going to win. The other one was against Ronda Rousey, which she has even less chance of winning. You know what I mean? Ruby's never been given the spotlight to shine on her own. And I think Ruby Riott, given the release from WWE, could be a star in AEW. Am I right or am I wrong there, Strak?
For what I've seen for her, she's decent. She is a solid worker. I mean, like, as you say, it kind of they put on factions, and then they do this, and then they do that, and she's kind of like a boat on a rudder. And when she came back, they never really thought, "Oh, we'll give her a singles run, see how she goes." They just thought, "I'll stick her back with Liv Morgan."
Yeah,
and exactly. You're like that. But there's a lot of lassies out that she could maybe give a decent match against. But I don't know if they maybe feared to pull the trigger, or they didn't want her as the face of the division, or was it?
I think that's it. But you look at the people, even in AEW, who she could have. Like, if you wanted to go with a plucky babyface, imagine Ruby Riott versus Nyla Rose, maybe in a cage match stipulation. You know what I mean? Can you imagine? Like, Nyla just pounding her into the cage over and over, Vicky screaming at ringside and Ruby getting up. That's the thing she could do. You want to go for her as a heel, have her, like, destroy Riho one night or something along those lines. You know what I mean? Like, there are so many ways to go with Ruby as a character. I think she's one of those evergreen performers in wrestling, and that she doesn't need to do too much to her character because she has that distinctive look. It's kind of the opposite of what we're saying with Ricochet. Ricochet maybe needs something in the character. Ruby Riott could play whatever character she wants to because she already has that definitive look and that definitive imagery, which makes you recognise exactly who she is for the off. You know what I mean?
The mod gear is something different. A lot of people are starting to copy it, kind of, though they know. But I mean, no, she went to the women's division in AEW. I mean, she'd probably have good matches against like Statlander. She'd probably have good matches against Big Swole. You could maybe, even if they did a whole women's tag team. I know that's what she did now. But I mean, even tagging her with Britt Baker, the two of them would be really good heels. They would be really good heels.
Totally.
So, I mean,
there's many things, but you have one last one to bring to the table, don't you?
It's sad that you do see so much potential in somebody, but nobody else does.
Yeah, totally.
And but then they just leave the career, and then you're like, ah, well, what could that have been?
Exactly. But who is your last pick, Strak, to bring to the table?
I've heard they say that, and it's all kind of obvious why. Obviously, Velveteen Dream.
Velveteen Dream.
He's gone.
I think Velveteen Dream had all the potential in the world.
Aye.
He had it handed to him on a silver platter. He was Triple H's golden goose. He was the one who I think Triple H saw, right, when I finally take over Raw, when I take over SmackDown, this is the guy that I'm going to take with me. We're going to take this company to new heights. But Velveteen Dream, you can't really disagree with the fact that he should go now.
The reason I said him is because obviously we're talking about who could release and who could go here and who could go there. The reason I brought him up is that exact thing that you just said. Yeah. The guy was over like fuck. I don't know if I can swear. Yeah. I don't know if I have. But I mean, like, he came out with the Hogan gear on.
Yeah.
And then came out with the Prince Puma gear on.
Yep.
Then he came out with Roderick Strong's Missy spread painted on his leg, like Rick Rude. He was doing the stuff with Ricochet. The stuff with EC3 was alright. The pool fight was quite funny. But
the match with Black is insanely good storytelling.
It was so good. The reason I said him is because he had the world on a plate.
Yep.
And he even brought out the tights, Vince called me up.
Yep.
And everybody thought, I think it's going to be Dream against Cena at Mania.
Yeah.
And that would have been fucking tremendous. But Dream went for a guy who get told.
Yeah.
And was it tough enough, wasn't it?
Tough enough, aye.
Not going to make it.
Yeah.
And then you get told, no, listen, go away, rethink it, get a couple more years under your belt, come back with something new and fresh. He came back with Velveteen Dream. I fucking hated it. I was like, oh. I was like, no, I hate this. I hate the shirt. I hate the velvet stuff. I hate it. But then he started doing more stuff, and I'm like, I'm actually backing this guy.
Yeah.
He's actually so entertaining.
Yeah.
His promos getting wheeled out a velvet couch.
Yep.
With two women, and then doing similar to Godfather gimmick stuff like that, and you're like, this is, as we said about Ricochet, he can do all the moves in the world. The Velveteen Dream's moves weren't, I don't want to say basic, it's a bit of an insult, but the guy didn't have anything that was like flippy.
Yeah.
Character was so over, he didn't care.
Well, that you look at it, who has more screen time in WWE right now? Ricochet or Billy Kay? And
come on.
And who's the better wrestler? Ricochet. But Billy Kay has a character, has a gimmick, knows what she's doing, and
It's
is
just
really funny.
Australians. All Australians are funny.
Not Peyton.
You've been a student. You've been a student. You've been drinking with Australians. How funny are they?
I love the Australians.
They're
I do love
Scottish
the
people who
Australians.
just cheered up. They're so funny to drink. Anybody watching this, see if you can get the pubs open and you find Australian people, go drink with them.
That's hilarious. I love
They'll
that.
actually drink for drink. They're so entertaining.
Yeah.
The Americans can't drink worth the fuck. Australians, they are so good people to drink with.
I
They
know.
never go in a bad mood. And we want to
Listen,
start a fight. They start drinking beer.
something that puts me in a bad mood is my final pick, and it's the way that Shinsuke Nakamura has been misused in WWE, and I think Shinsuke should go for a run elsewhere. Ready-made feud in New Japan. Why did you get rid of my belt? I made that IC belt. I made that IC belt the main event, and you have the audacity to unify it with a heavyweight title? Nah. I'm going to kill everyone responsible for that. You know
If
what I
we
mean?
went to Japan and just turned up with a belt.
Aye, he'd just be like, nope, this is mine again. This is mine now. Here we go.
We
You know what I mean?
that. No, he didn't.
And I think that's where he should go. Because listen, Shinsuke Nakamura will go down as one of the greatest of all time in this era, mostly due to his New Japan stuff. His NXT stuff, I think a lot of it was really stellar. His first night against Sami Zayn, incredible music, Royal Rumble winner, misused in the main roster, wasn't given the push he should have been given, wasn't given the mouthpiece probably maybe should have been given, but he didn't really need it with his charisma also. I don't think Vince ever really got it. And it shows you that he had that gauntlet match earlier this year. We're thinking maybe he's going to get a push. Maybe it's Roman versus Nakamura at Mania, which would have been an insanely good match. Like, I don't think people understand how good Roman versus Nakamura could have actually been. Because that would have been like, because you could, it's the legitimacy of it. Roman goes for a spear, Naka catches him with a Kinshasa. Oh my days. That match is over, you know what I mean? It's done. But I'm one of these people who try and give WWE the benefit of the doubt at the time, you know what I mean? But with this, I think it's criminal. I honestly think it's criminal what's happened to Shinsuke Nakamura, and a man in his position, a man with his talent, and a man who is his clock's ticking down. You know, go and enjoy yourself. Go and enjoy life in Japan. Any more to say in this one, Strak?
Well, we done the show on Nakamura. Obviously, that's in our back catalogue on Spotify and things like that. And I said that, I says, the way he's been used is absolutely criminal.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if this rumor's true. I heard that and I thought it seems plausible. When he first went to NXT, he was so stiff. Joe was the only person who was really wanted to work him because Joe's used to stiff as fuck.
Yeah.
But I thought that's what made. Thing annoys me with wrestling is guys go, "Oh, I don't really want to get hit. I don't really want to get hurt." It's like, you do realise, as much as it's prescripted and we know what's happening in the match, you need to get hit. You need to get. It's not a case of constant fucking forearm shots and a couple of toe kicks. You need to get fucking clotheslined in the chest full force. You need to take a big boot in the face. You need a drop kick that you don't know's coming. You need to get hit. And he made it look so real when he was hitting people.
Yeah.
I don't dare say the guy was probably like Big Mossy. I've been in a match with Big Johnny Moss.
Yeah.
And Johnny Moss looked like he was tearing my fucking head off. Honestly, the nicest, softest guy I've ever been in a ring with.
Nice.
He looked like he was murdering me. And every shot was probably, I've been hit by weird guys stiffer than I was by. And I think Nakamura might be the same. He might be stiff, but he's probably snug.
Yeah.
If he hits you, it's no he meant to hit you. He meant to be snug, but he's probably accidentally shit happens. But his clock is ticking down, and honestly, I know it's a lazy pick, but I want to see him go to AEW. I'd love to see Nakamura with Omega.
Nakamura Omega, Nakamura High Man, Nakamura who?
Nakamura Pack.
Nakamura Moxley.
But that's there we go. How we've just rhymed off 5 or 6 brilliant feuds he could have right now.
Yeah, true. But he could also go to New Japan. I don't like the guy, but his matches with Moxley would be good. Imagine Nakamura versus Ibushi in this day and age.
I said that.
You know?
Naito would be good.
Yeah. Against my man, Evil. Can you imagine? Nakamura, Evil.
See, when Nakamura was in Japan, Ospreay
Yeah.
wasn't at the top level, was he?
No, definitely not.
Well, there you go. You've got Ospreay against Nakamura.
Totally.
Imagine versus Kinshasa.
Imagine Zack Sabre Jr. against Shinsuke Nakamura.
I don't like him. I don't see the attraction. I really don't.
I like it. He reminds me of a 21st century Bret Hart. That's who I see Zack Sabre Jr. as.
I don't know if it's his look. I don't know if he's because he's quite skinny.
Fair enough. Well,
I can't get behind. I can't get behind them. He is good, but I can't.
We need to round this off. We did have some people before the show. Ryan Dalglish says Aleister Black, surely. Although we don't take anything Ryan Dalglish seriously because he's part of that loser league in Saturday Draft Live. Robert Meeklum says, but Aleister Black, I'm not sure anyone leaving as such, but there's a few I can see getting another shot under a different gimmick or repacking. What's the guys from Retribution going to do now? I'm sure we'll see Baba Kato or whatever he's called after Mania 2. It's a good point. Alan Laurie says Aleister Black, Murphy, Tozawa, Blake, Riddick Moss, Tucker, and Angel Garza could all be for the scrap heap. Ross McLeod said Black won't go. News apparently came out he's dealing with multiple injuries. Ross says clear out the 24/7 division will happen, and hopefully moving people like Gulag, Umberto, Ricochet to 205 Live /NXT so they can be used more regularly. And Strak, I know a couple of the team members tuning in as well.
I'm going to get back to my notes. Wilson said, what's the boy's name? That's how bad that is. I completely forgot his name.
Who's it?
Mysterio for a while.
Oh, Umberto.
Aye.
Yeah.
Obviously, people have already mentioned Hockney said Tucker, Wes Blakely, but a few of the guys I work with asked them. I said, "What would you? Who do you think?" And a few of the side ones, I'm like, it's a long shot, but it's a shout. Walter.
I don't know. Big match against Ciampa.
Because I said that to him. I says, why Walter? He went, because think about it, they didn't know what to do with Survivor Series. If he went up, it would be another Keith Lee. He's impressed about this, but I have no idea what to do with this guy. So he'd probably drop the UK title and just go back to Europe. All right.
We'll see what happens, because I can't see him dropping the UK title to Ciampa. And I could see Triple H being tempted by Cross versus Walter down the line. I could see that.
It's a stiff competition.
My God, just two big guys locking lumps at each other, man. Can you imagine that? That'd be so class.
You were going to say Big E. Two big men just slamming
me. That's what it'll be. It'll be absolutely, it will genuinely just be Walter chopping him, carrying Cross looking like Scarlett Bordeaux's there and all. Like it's going to be a magical time. Scarlett Bordeaux's fighting off the rest of Imperium at ringside, you know what I mean? Giving the old 1-2. She already beat, who was the guy she beat in Impact? She had a feud with a guy in Impact, I remember.
I can't even remember.
Can't you remember his name? I know she pinned a guy. But anyway, we'll leave that for today's show. If you have any other thoughts, comment on the YouTube, comment on this video, comment on Facebook, go and follow us, Twitter, Instagram. Like I said, this is the start of ESSR's WrestleMania week coverage. We've got so much going on. WrestleMania is just around the corner. Strak, out of the NXT TakeOver card and the WrestleMania card, what's the one match that will steal the long weekend? What do you think it'll be?
That sounds so bad. The WWE right now, I'm like, named it. NXT. It will be an NXT match. I've got a feeling it's going to be Ciampa and Walter, to be fair. I think it's just going to be... Walter's just going to kick the living shit out of him, and Ciampa's just going to keep getting up.
Fair. And that'll be great to see. I can't wait to see it. But listen, tune in next time to Conspiracy Theory. For myself, it's goodbye. And from Strak,
see you later.